Hey everybody. So this week we're going to manipulate some text, which I think is a very fun and useful thing to do inside of Inkscape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the word egg in the shape of an egg. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create my egg shape so that I have something to guide me. I'm going to use the ellipsis tool for that. And while this is an egg-like shape, it's not exactly the way that an egg actually is. So I'm going to go to my path menu and choose Object to Path. And I'm going to use my node tool in order to take these curves out a little bit. And take this curve in a little bit. And generally play with the handles and the nodes until I'm pretty happy with that as an egg shape. That's perfectly fine. So I'm going to give it a little angle, and I'm also going to click on it until the handles for resize come up. I'm going to hold on to Control and Shift at the same time. I'm going to size it up. And in order to provide some contrast between the letters and the background, I'm going to add a rectangle that's larger than the size of the page. I'm going to select that rectangle with the selection tool. And I'm going to make it green. And I'm also going to create a gradient so that it goes from green to transparent at first. And because this node is still selected on the gradient tool, I'm going to choose a darker color. So it's a very gradual, subtle gradient. And finally, I'm going to take this rectangle and I'm going to send it to the bottom. I'm going to lower the selection to the bottom, meaning it's going to go underneath of the other object that I created, this egg shape. Now, I'm going to use my text tool. I'm going to type in lowercase the letters for egg. I'm going to make them approximately the size. I'm holding down Control as I resize this. So that it does not, so the proportions are constrained. And I'm going to, with the selection tool, select it until the rotation handles are present so that I can rotate it a little bit. And again, I'm going to hold down Control with the resize handles present. I'm going to fit it into that egg shape. Now, this is still text. The way that I know that this is still text is because A, I didn't change it into a path, but also it's reinforced by this line down here that tells me this is text in Liberation Sans. I'm going to go into my text and font dialog. I'm just going to look through to see if maybe there is a better font for this purpose. And honestly, I like this a lot better, this Adwata Sans. So I'm going to apply there. I'm going to close this dialog. And I'm now going to change this text into a path so that I can manipulate it using the node tool. So if I do that, you can see down here it's going to change from text to a path. I'm going to say object to path, and now it's a path with 116 nodes in layer 1. Okay? What this means is that now if I go into my node tool right here, I'm able to select nodes and manipulate them and there's something that I want to show you. If I select this path, all of the elements of the path are still connected. So in other words, these 3 letters are still just a single path, meaning if I want to move this E away from this G, I would have to do it by using the node tool. And now you can see that there are selection handles that are available around that part of this path. If I hold down Control and resize that up a little bit, I'm just manipulating that part of the path. For this part of this G, I'm going to select that set of nodes and move them upward. For this part of this G, I'm going to select the top part of that and move it upwards. For this part of the G, I'm going to select just that part of that G and move it downwards. I'm going to select just this part of this G. And instead of using the handles in this case, I'm actually going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard in order to just move them down, just by hitting that arrow key repeatedly. I'm going to select the bottom part of my E, move that down a little bit. And now I'll select the top part of this G and just select everything except that top corner node so that I can move that upward. And now as I'm starting to fill out these shapes, it's easier for me to grab just a portion and delete it. So the letters for E, G, and G are in green because that was the last color that I had selected. But in fact, I want to make that gray for now because I want to see the contrast between the white of the egg shape and the letters in the path. And there are also too many nodes here. There's more nodes than I need in order to retain the shape of the letters. So where there are more nodes than I need, I'm going to select them with the node tool and delete them. You can see that I'm deleting nodes, and when I delete them, the shape does not change that much. which is good. I want to maintain the shape in general. And so I'm just deleting nodes that don't affect the shape that much. You can see that when I removed that particular node, a lot of change happened. But that's okay. So you can see I'm starting to refine the shapes here. And I'm trying to line up the edges of the letters with the shapes in with the shape of the egg. And as I go along, I start to realize what nodes are necessary and what nodes are less so. Using the arrows to take down this portion of the G. Deleting what's not necessary. And it is a fairly meticulous process, but it's a powerful set of tools that allow you to do this. And so now I'm pretty happy with that. And so from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that path, hold down Control and Shift, and size it in a little bit. And I'm going to make that path yellow. I feel like that's pretty fun. So, if you'd like to do something like this and you have questions or need some help, you can always send me an email at lamasny@gmail.com. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope that this video finds you well. Bye.